Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second part of the seminars on the Lgbtqia++ mental health and well-being session organized by VIMHANS. The Mind Diaries is their official partner for the lecture series. VIMHANS has been organizing these lecture series on various mental health and well-being issues successfully for over a decade. As we get ready for today's seminar, we have one request. Besides, of course, requesting you to please put your phones on silent, we should also requesting you to leave behind all our inhibitions and explore our own beliefs, emotions, and enable better understanding and support to our own self and to those around and close to us. As a child, when I used to play with my siblings or friends in the neighborhood, I could never hide in dark and closed spaces, even though they make the best hiding spaces. As a grown adult, even today, I don't really like taking lifts or being in rooms like this that are enclosed. And the list can go on. And I'm sure you may identify this as common science or something called claustrophobia. And in that, there is a huge fear of enclosed spaces and can also cause huge panic to someone who's stuck inside a place like this, even if it's for a short time. Now just imagine if this space was someone's own body or own home. From all of us here in this room and so many outside in the world, sadly many have to live in spaces like this for quite a long time or for their entire lives. And that's something we will be exploring today. Ladies and gentlemen, today's speaker for the evening is Namrata Gupta, a queer affirmative psychotherapist and senior consultant clinical psychologist at VIMHANS New Delhi, who will be speaking on this much misunderstood subject. The Mind Diaries, the official partner for the IHC lecture series, is the first of its kind magazine in India on mental health and well-being. The magazine, which has been running for close to a year, aims to create awareness towards mental health and normalize seeking expert help. Besides first-person accounts of fighting back, there are also expert columns, inspirational stories, and a lot more. Before we hand the podium over to our expert, we request you to please keep your questions ready on the paper that's been provided to you on the table for our question and answer session, which will be scheduled for later. Over to Namrata Gupta.
Hi, good evening everyone. So, thanks for the introduction. Thank you for making it here on a weekend, starting weekend, Friday. So, several people want to rush home and not leave, I guess, until there's really a pressing need. So, thanks again. So I would like to actually start a little bit by knowing our audience here so that we can become co-participants in today's discussion. Anyone who would like to just maybe your name or anything that you would like to talk about, something that you want to share or just throw out. Let's consider an invisible bowl here. So if you want to throw out a word or something you would want to be attended to during the discourse today, I would like to keep it bi-directional. So anything, a word, a color, a fear, or anything you relate as something which makes you feel it's you. It could be your name, or it could be a profession, it could be where you stay, or anything. Anyone who would be willing to start? We'll have to actually shake ourselves. बैठने से काम नहीं चलेगा और चुप रहने से भी बिल्कुल नहीं चलेगा. So let's keep it actually open discussion. Please.
Hi, my name is Radhika and I'm very excited to be here and just...
Thanks Radhika, thanks for starting and breaking the ice. Welcome. I don't want to pick people, I will not do that, so please.
I'm Disha and I'm a psychologist and I'm coming with a lot of curiosity.
Thank you. So curiosity. Thanks. Anyone? Anyone? First benches, last benches, middle benches. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Roshni. I'm a clinical psychologist. I'm really looking forward to today's session.
Thank you, Roshni. Pink. Thanks. Welcome. Okay, who else? Anyone? Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Swati. I'm a clinical psychologist and I came to attend this workshop because it's a friend presenting and I wanted to support her through that.
And she's a queer affirmative therapist as well. So thanks for being there. Something good for sure. Yeah. So I think we choose all going. Anyone?
Swasna, I'm a mom to a teenager, and as teenage ages go, sexuality, those are topics which are a bit difficult to approach and touch upon, and I'm hoping to get some insight.
Thank you. So we are teenager. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Aditya. I'm a lawyer. I work on LGBTQIA issues with COVID. I've been filing a petition on the successionary rights of this community before the High Court. So I'm eager to understand the nuances of issues that they face and issues that we as individuals also face. I'm unaware of totally unaware of the mental health.
Thank you. We need you. Thanks. Would love to help you in any way. Any more people? Yes.
Hi, I'm Anushka. I'm a clinical psychologist and I've really been looking forward to this workshop for like a week now. And
That makes me jump inside.
really honestly, really been looking forward to it and excited to learn. Yeah.
Thank you, welcome. Okay, do we proceed or anyone still has a little itch? Yeah.
Yes, I'm his mother.
Okay.
And I was a teacher in your college school. So I just want to learn a little bit about my life. So of course I've gone through this through the mental issue, not this issue, but otherwise also. So I'm here to learn.
Thank you. We'll learn and unlearn, relearn together. So just one thing, whatever we share here, if there's anything where you want a discretion to be practiced, you can let us know, or feel free, whatever stays here will remain here. Even there's a recording, but we'll take care of that in case there's anything, but let's hold space for each other. So something while I was working today with panic buttons and running keys, just felt, consider we all have been walking as if asleep, deep sleep, walking through differences, disparities, unaware, but heavily conditioned. That's why I said deep sleep, because we don't even know what we're actually carrying or moving forward with. Change to manufactured parts over ages and generations. Let's together break these chains. So I welcome again all of you. Let's make a change happen. I'd like to start here as whenever we think someone has a child, someone's conceived, someone's adopting a child, someone's bringing in a new member, a new life in different ways. It's not just one way, I feel. Whatever comes to your mind, can anyone share? Like, I for sure, with the space right now, I'll be like, okay, I'll be anxious. I'll be like, okay, what's happening? Anyone else? What would you, so a life takes birth. No sleep, okay. Anyone else? Yeah.
Worried.
Worried, okay. Anything? A new life. Okay, germination.
I'm actually very cynical about.
So we want that. Bring it on the FA for everyone, right? So that's why I said in different fashions, right? Dr. Kannan, please, over to you.
Thank you.
So that's a thank you to a new life in whichever form. The new life could be a baby, could be a child, could be an adult, could be a teenager being adopted, a foster home, a new puppy coming in, a child coming in from a relative's family, or maybe you feeling very different in your own life, in your own, wherever you are in your own journey. So, but yeah, it's not just one thing, someone conceived, gave a birth. That's what I wanted to sort of share with you. Ki bacha hone wala is a typical thing, good news, but then we all know there's more to it than that. So when we think of a child being born or a child being brought to a home as a foster parent or in whichever way, or being adopted, we think ladka la rahe ho ya ladki. That's the usual questions. लड़का मिला, लड़की मिली, गोरा है, काला है. I would like to say here that I know someone very closely who wants to adopt. So the child is important, but it's more like किस तरह का, कैसा, किस तरह का दिखता हुआ. And here we are not even talking about what is the gender, because they're open to the gender, the biological gender the child may have, though there's a preference to that too. So gender sexuality is a socially constructed phenomenon or a concept. That's how I would like, that's the building further that I would like to have for our today's discussion. Who gets to decide what's normal? Not just for LGBTQ, but even when we are looking at mental health. People, group of people, science, medical profession, especially if a child is in concern, by seeing the genitalia, ladka hai ya ladki hai ya, okay, there is something we need to get more genetic testing done, there is something which is not okay with the child or not normal with the child. So even before the child actually has a first cry, the doctor looks for the genitals, or the family is curious to know ladki hai ya ladka hai, as if there is no other existence that could happen. And we all know that's a binary way of looking at the world, and which is not a reality. That's a manufactured reality. So whoever is in powerful majority has a say by politics, by the virtue of number, by the virtue of what they bring into the society. They dictate the discourse. Normal bodies, normal gender, normal families, normal relationships, normal dressing. I mean, there are too many normals which I'm sure we know don't exist. Maybe for an IHC event, me dressing up in a Western attire is very not normal. But this is what makes me feel comfortable. So, okay, let's do it. Khadi, cotton, or a very socialite kind of dressing, okay, I will be comfortable in this. So I also had to fight that. But what is normal is what I would like you to sort of keep in your head and ask yourself. So I would like to focus on what is now very well accepted, known, heard as lived experience. So not just an experience or an expert because of my qualification, because of my degrees, or because over the years I have a built-up CV, but because I'm living that life, I have a say in it and I understand what's happening in my life. So the so-called normal, this is an excerpt from one of my training materials and one of our trainers. That's her life that she put up. Growing up, I experienced bullying for my natural gender expression, which is, we're talking about the girl by gender, genitalia, hair, looks, body. My classmates took turns to imitate the way I walked, talked and dressed. I took active measures to fit into the socially acceptable qualities of my assigned gender, assigned because assigned at birth. I grew my hair, toned down my voice. Girls should speak low, soft, हंसना धीरे है, अच्छे से चलना है, soft walk होनी चाहिए, all of that. Wore certain clothes. At the discomfort of my body, I found it harder to look in the mirror with every passing day. So I would like us to maybe by the end of today's discussion go from gender dysphoric or feeling ye ho kya raha hai to something which now all of us may introduce ourselves to gender euphoria, celebrating myself just the way I am. I don't have to be defined, explained, or no one has to validate my existence. So shifting how we look at it. Gender euphoria is the sense of comfort, joy and confidence that one feels when the gender expression is aligned with their gender identity. How I feel with it. That's the identity part here. So significant support for rights of LGBTQ plus among urban Indians. Research says that within the last 5 years, 56% of urban Indians say their views are different from what they were 5 years ago. So whatever we may say, COVID has contributed, people have come up, it has helped people find their voice because every one of us were actually pushed to the corners. So somewhere I think those 5 years also entailed those extremely disturbing, difficult years for all of us, no matter how much or however we identify or don't. It has made a change. I'd like to introduce here something called as a charm circle. There is an inherent disbalance. A heteronormative, a male or a female identified, is at the center of the charm circle. So, and people on the margins, which is here. So margins are the concentric circles right at the outside and the socially approved charm circle right in the center, which is very isolating and experience, just like a barren tree. I keep figuring out, I keep struggling, I keep feeling I am scared and I may be assaulted or looked down upon, or I don't know who to speak with. But that's the reality which we all need to be aware of. A lot of us who maybe call ourselves he, she's, or the gender binaries would not relate to a lot of things, but during the talk further, I will bring up a few exercises where we will know that despite not maybe being a non-binary, we still feel isolated and marginalized. So imagine the kind of struggle the Lgbtqia community is actually fighting it out. So often it's asked, अब क्यों, अब क्या हुआ, इतना शोर क्यों मच रहा है, नॉर्मल तो है, तुम्हें जगह तो दे दी, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, अच्छा रह लो जैसे रहना है, हमें मत बोलो. But maybe when it pinches our own feet, that's when we know the pain. And multiplying the pain into n is what they are feeling. So from they to us is what we need to kind of sew together. Social structures that hold the power are at play, which make those concentric circles work. Queer identities must be explicitly labeled norm. From normal to normative is what we are establishing here. This is the way to honor the legitimacy of those who have been stigmatized over ages and generations, because at a point of time history changed. Some people in a colonial era thought this was more beneficial for them, or the church may be disapproved, or someone's religion back home felt troubled or less seen. Any bit of history, it has contributed. Even if I am a Jew or I'm a Muslim or I'm a girl, gender, non-binary, binary, I still feel threatened. And that's the same which men folks are also feeling. So let's explore this. I would actually like all of us to go through a little exercise together. I would be reading some instructions to you. If at all it feels discomforting to anyone, you could maybe just mentally step out of it. But we're peeping inside. So in case it feels overwhelming, you could step out of it. So maybe if I'll share, ages ago, at least 20 years ago, I went to a homeopath doctor. And I was having some difficulties in my periods, my menstrual cycles. My parents were worried, not just because of that, but overall my health was also stifling. So this doctor, being a very close family friend and a very reputed homeopath in this part of Delhi, very candidly, being Punjabi, said to my parents, "Kuriya nu suit penaya karo." In better Punjabi I don't have. बेसिकली ये डेनिम्स पहनती हैं, जीन्स पहनती हैं, तो इसलिए हार्मोनल डिस्बैलेंसेस हो रहे हैं. सूट पहनाओ, हेल्थ इंप्रूव हो जाएगी, लाइफ बेटर हो जाएगी, लड़कियां बन जाएंगी. So binary, non-binary, that is what I want you to sort of today peep inside. All of us have had these experiences. Maybe we've not even addressed them to ourselves. Let's attend them today. So I'll just read a few instructions. I would like each one of you to just think of a festival that you like most. It could be Christmas, Diwali for another one, Onam for someone. However you like to be dressed, whatever you like to eat, whatever maybe is a functional way of working in your household. Just think of that. If you could just take a few seconds and think of that. And I'll read further. So when I say let's look at it from a very functional or a traditional way, because I like this festival, ask yourself what is it that you would maybe want to wear for this occasion. And if there is another voice coming in कि ये अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, but still what would you like to do? Okay? And part is that you do what the other voice has been telling you. It could be a friend, it could be a relative, it could be a childhood memory coming up, a voice saying, "ये मत पहनो, ये अच्छा नहीं लगता है, ये लड़के नहीं पहनते हैं, कैसे रंग पहन रहे हो." Any of it that's coming up. Next, if whoever's married has a partner, is in a relationship, or maybe is crushing on someone, keeps that away. Look at yourself just as a person. So no engagement rings, no commitment band, no Mangal Sutra. All of it, can you keep that aside? So all of that aside, you in that particular day, morning till late evening, can you think of that? No boy-girl relationship. What is what my family might want? What is left with is what I would want you to maybe share. Whoever might feel comfortable would be nice in case you feel comfortable. No one's pushing here. Please.
Most of the times this happens on the occasion of Holi, and that is my favorite festival, right? And I would love to wear bikinis and all, anything out there, right? But most of the times I have this thought on the back of my mind that, okay, this will be a bit too much, maybe. This will be a bit see-through kind of a thing, and I should wear it out there because either I'm with my family or I am with my friends. Or maybe some strangers out there who are creepy or probably, I would say, perverted. So that is something which hits me every freaking time, every year when I won't enjoy it like completely. Only place where I could actually enjoy the event was in Goa last year. And that was also because of the mindset of the people around me. Rest of the times I just couldn't enjoy it fully. So that is what I would like to share.
So no one was staring you down is how you felt. And you felt free.
Yeah, I was scared.
Yeah. But in Goa you were feeling
I was
freer.
feeling free.
Okay.
So that was the difference that I found. Before that I didn't even know that there was a difference that I was feeling.
So
Yeah.
we were sleepwalking. All these years we were sleepwalking,
Yeah.
carrying the fear but thinking it was sabke saath hota hai.
Huh, like, because we have normalized it,
Yeah.
I guess. So, yeah, like we don't even notice that this is happening to us. So I observed this thing last year only. Like, okay, this could also happen and this is quite happening. And this can lead to a bigger transformation in my life.
Wow. So that was powerful. Thank you for sharing. Thanks. So I'd not be asking anyone's names or how do they how do they pronounce themselves. If they're free to share if they feel okay with that. So noun, pronoun, verb, name. I'm not asking anonymity, but if you like to share, you're free. Anyone, I mean.
Then,
Yeah. Thanks, Naina, for sharing. So genders and all of that comes, but it's something which we carry every day, and like Naina very rightly said, it's been normalized. ऐसा ही होता है, लड़कियों को सेफ रहना होता है, होली का त्योहार है and whatnot. So moving further, direct into maybe when we were younger, is adolescence and self. If I could just go, yeah. So which is the real me from what the person just shared is, okay, which is the real me? All the years that I was celebrating Holi was when I felt covering myself a certain way was okay, or what I felt liberated and free the last year, what felt better. So a lot of questions come up when we think of a child, or where is the future going? How would this person feel? Why is my child behaving a certain way? That's why I wanted to just start with where the basis starts. A child, going back to the child basically. Teenagers frequently worry over and start becoming restless if they feel a certain way and the parents are not finding it okay, or they feel मैं तो लड़का हूँ, मैं तो स्कूल में वॉशरूम लड़कों वाला यूज करता हूँ, बट आई डोंट फील कंफर्टेबल गोइंग टू द लड़कों वाला वॉशरूम और द मेल washroom basically, which is the real me or what is happening with me, and they start questioning themselves, but they have no place to go or who to speak with. Usually, psychologically speaking, from a developmental perspective, middle to late adolescents, teenagers combine their traits and the sense of awareness. They sort of try to mentally put it all together, make sense out of it, but still don't know who to speak with. We have school counselors, but I wish the systems were better, because still the child is not okay to go and speak with, because they're scared that if it would be talked around in school, so I don't know who to trust. So and around the same age, a lot of social comparison comes in. That's where I start comparing myself with other people. Culture, parenting, friends, still I feel lonely. So eventually the self, which is an agency of self, remains evolving over time, but with a lot of confusion and doubt. I and me fuse together over the years until we reach puberty or until 18. Though I think that's a older way of looking at it, because with the diversity we are now seeing, observing, accepting, it is evolving. It's diverse and it's fluid. But as much confusion I feel in myself, I feel a certain way, but I'm made to go to a different washroom, or I like to be called Shahrukh. It's nothing else, right? Sorry. But I'm constantly called Namrita. मुझे शाहरुख बुला होता, but अरे तुम्हारा नाम नम्रता लिखा है, क्या नया नाम, क्या तो तुम्हें क्या हो रहा है? Yeah, even something like Namit. But okay, I want to be called Namit. Don't call me Namrita. You are a girl. You need to be called Namrita. क्या नई चीजें तुम्हारे दिमाग में चल रही हैं? So you getting badly influenced. Maybe someone would come and say, or it's just like a passing phase. But with every passing day and growing years, I feel discrepant. I feel claustrophobic in my own self, as it was shared before. I feel uncomfortable. And that's when I question myself, what is happening? And the more incongruence or disparity between how I feel and how I'm seen, more it leads to unhappiness, doubts, depressive thoughts and feelings, self-esteem issues, and it just keeps growing. So according to statistics, many children identify with the gender, and it begins as early as 2 to 3 years. In fact, when I was doing my research, one of the very established articles said it starts in the womb. But okay, forewarning, let's not blame the parents or the family. इन्होंने ऐसा किया, या this was the cultural practice that the mother or the father was practicing. It's very natural. That is what we are trying to establish today. So I conformed to a certain way, but this started way before I was even born. So therefore gender studies, because still we have a long way to go. They usually focus on either gay men, gay women, or bisexuals, or just trans women. The research has now started growing in that area. It's not like a true representation yet. So it will be hard to say kitne numbers of what kind of people. But yes, there are enough living people to talk for themselves. So let's hear them. So therefore, gender studies may not indicate a true change or a true gender identity of a person. Just going into a little basic, this we had actually discussed in the last workshop in November, but just a snippet of it. What is gender? What is sexuality? Important to before I define it, that there's diversity in sexual orientation and expression of one's gender, and it has existed throughout history, globally, world over, even in smaller communities or tribes, and they have celebrated it. I think we are now updating ourselves. They were updated long ago. So gender, sex is something assigned at birth, which I shared with you during the start of this talk. And gender is how I feel, behave, the attitudes that each culture attributes to a person's biological sex. Men are supposed to do this, women are supposed to do this, rest. Okay, you have to actually relate with one of them and adhere to it, because you look like a man or you look more like a female. Why are you so effeminate? Why are your hands going like this? Why is your body a certain way? Train yourself. Affirm to yourself, this is not okay. तुम हमारा नाम खराब करोगे. all of that comes into picture then. But basically, long story short, sex, something we are born with, genitalia, and gender, the attributes that get attached to because I look or feel a certain, like I look a certain way actually, largely, not even feel. Nobody's asking about the feelings. Sexuality is different from sex. It is important because it plays a role in the development, health and well-being of a fuller person, a young person. It's not just about sexual behavior or sexual attraction. It is experienced on a day-to-day basis. Also about a relationship with how I relate with myself and my body. How would I like to be addressed, called, seen, or how I see myself inside. What roles would I like to take in the society? Because this is how I relate with it. So it's not just a sexual or a sex aspect of a person. Because let's not reduce a person to just the sexuality, which is very typical in terms of the gender, or going back to the sex one was born with. So normative gender sexuality is how we queer affirmative therapists now understand it, and we are still learning. We're learning from our clients, we're learning from every life coming forward. Gender diversity and transgender identities have been in all cultural, ethnic and racial groups ever present. So let's not equate the normal to actually the fact of life. What are the needs of a child? I keep going back to a child here because we all, when we feel regressed or when I feel scared, that's how we feel inside. So all the 50s, 60s, 30s, 40s can check with themselves. That little person inside, how have they felt over these years? So, or even if I am 50 right now, but I'm struggling because I want to be seen, reciprocated, accepted a certain way, emotionally, feel belonged. So I gave away a few, so answers. What do we inherently want? In a family, in a friendship group, what is it that I would want when I am with a few people together?
To be accepted.
Accepted, understood. Yeah, the ball is right here. Keep throwing in. Love. Affection. कितनी soft बातें कर रहे हो ना, सब मशी सी. सबको ये चाहिए. इतना फिर why is the facade there? So much is like
recognition.
Yeah, okay. But still again, not enough. I want to be a minister, prime minister, doctor. I didn't hear that. Shit.
Sense of
Oh, sorry.
belongingness.
Yeah.
Sense of belongingness.
Yeah. Okay, love, affection, recognition, sense of belongingness.
Acknowledgement and respect.
Okay, respect's coming. Yeah. Anything more anyone would like to?
Accepting the way we are.
Yes, acceptance. Yeah. So none of the facade that we all keep fighting for in our lives now. That comes, that's important. No one's discrediting that. But at least I want to be seen, recognized, acknowledged, loved, belonged. That sense of belonging. In those four walls, whoever I'm sharing those four walls with, family comes in many ways. Not just in the traditional ways. I would want to feel safe. Yeah? So, attending to that, I have a video here. I'd like to see this together, all of us.
So the first time when I realized that people are not accepting me for what I am was at the age of 6, when I didn't like to wear frocks. मतलब मैंने कभी बताया नहीं उनको कि I feel like a man. There was no space where I would stand up and say that this is how I feel. And then when I came to all girls school, बहुत difficult था मेरे लिए. When I told my mom कि क्या हम इनको बोल सकते हैं कि मैं pants पहन के आऊँ? My college life went and I really got involved with this girl. I was insanely in love with that person. So when I asked, how do you see this relationship? She was like, why are you talking about all this? All this is waste of time. I'm like, how is it waste of time? Why are trans men not an option? Everything has to be inside the closet. It's suffocating. And then I got my first anxiety attack. people just say कि blatantly ये पागलपन है. It's nothing that I'm enjoying. You know, I'm going through dysphoria. I am dysphoric. I hate my body. What I'm feeling with myself is what people are not accepting. The problem is outside. The problem is not inside. And then I was diagnosed that you have anger issues, you have anxiety issues. I don't have anxiety issues because I have some chemical problems. It's because the structural fight is like this. In 2016, I shifted to Pune for my master's in clinical psychology. On the day one, I said I identify myself as a man and my name is Aryan. My classmates, my teachers, never anybody came and asked me that why and what is this. And this friend of mine, this girl gave me a lot of confidence. All her family members accepted me for what I am. They never asked me what's her birth name. So after this, I got this confidence. Yeah, I think I can tell my parents also. And I told them that I identify as a man. So I was telling Dad that I know Dad, it's going to be tough for you. He tells me, wait, what society thinks has never been my problem. If you say you are a man, you are son for me from today. I will come with you to gender certification, and he had come with me. My mother also told me, this is your happiness, this is my happiness. Privileged, blessed, no matter what synonym you give to this. But this is the kind of love that I got. Now this is acceptance.
Legitimizing and believing in lived experiences. And this happens to be a co-professional, a colleague, a trained clinical psychologist, a mental health practitioner. Okay, let's nullify that. Let's take away all from this person and say, no, they're not in their same minds. I challenge you. Anyone who would like to share something? Or, okay, for me, I'd like to start something because I've seen this video before, obviously. But what stayed with me was Aryan's smile and that wide field and the kids rotating, celebrating. And I think that will be my visual after I step out today. That will remind me when mind is without fear, what Naina also experienced. Freedom, safety, acceptance, being at peace with oneself and not having to fight it out. Anyone wants to share, ask? Even a question is okay. We'll otherwise proceed. We'll proceed. So, clarifying it right away, homosexuality, non-binary, LGBTQIA++, none of that is unusual, abnormal, not okay, or nothing's broken there. Nothing's there that needs correction. Let's get it straight out there. No matter how many questions you have, I'm ready to happily address that. But yes, it's not an abnormality. There's nothing defunct there. So nothing to be corrected. So we have a lawyer here. So MHCA has already on international standards also updated. It's been accepted by our Supreme Court. It's been there, sanctioned, accepted, celebrated. I don't think we have questions because the law of the land prevails our minds and our questions at least. Thank God, it's been a long struggle. So despite what I've tried to sort of bring up with all of us together, here is that we all have those places or spaces where we don't feel comfortable speaking or just being myself. Even if I relate with myself as being binary or non-queer, but there are spaces where I have felt minimized, reduced, not seen, violated. Having said that, Lgbtqia, the queer community, has it much more harder every single day. Inside homes, outside the boundaries. Even if I want to go get a glass of water for myself, and I'm dressed a certain way, or if I have different body language, which a bystander doesn't find normal, I will be looked down upon. Snide comment might come my way. So we can't unsee that. Difficulties with self-acceptance is what a queer person, individual, or the larger community has to undergo every day. Internalized homophobia or bi-negativity, because no one is accepting me, लगता है मुझ में ही कुछ problem, or there's something with my thought process. Let me actually change this. Go to a doctor. Go to a counselor. So in the start of the video, I shared a urban research percentage, which was 56. I've had clients come all the way from Rajasthan and UP. मैम मुझे चेंज कर दो. मुझे कुछ चेंज नहीं करना, नहीं कर दो क्योंकि बहुत प्रॉब्लम है, and it's very painful. My parents want to get me married. They are very supportive, but my siblings tell me if something happens to my parents, it will be because of me. We're playing with people's lives, their heads, their emotions, nullifying what pain they are going through, and actually playing mind games there. Not intentionally, but that's the way we know to sort of respond to a person who's actually in crisis. But we say, put that all aside, get married. Get married to a binary man or a binary woman. Aage ki life, everyone does it. Let's see. We'll manage it. But okay, jump in fire. Coming out, outing by itself is a huge challenge and not something which can be rushed into, or I rush myself into, or another person is pushed into. So let's hold on to that. I'll discuss this further. Loss and grief. Grief of losing my own people or not being understood. Loss of not knowing myself every passing day. Invisibility, erasure. When there's an office party, everyone's called to dance, but this person seems a little off or seems like a joke. Maybe let's call him, but to have fun, or her, or they. Because they're not good enough to actually be brought to an inner circle, but to be snided at or made fun of. That's the kind of pressure I every day have to fight with. Leading to discrimination, stigma, harassment in numerous ways. Relationship issues. Just because I think I feel like a bisexual doesn't mean I'm accepted or I've had it all sorted, or the person I am crushing on accepts it. Like I've been also sharing. So hate crimes or fear for personal safety, that's real. Men, women identifying as binary feel it. Let's take that next notch, and then it's scary actually. Emotional abuse, threats, ridicule, manipulation, but people we thought are our own, or they know us best, or they will only think what is best for us. But it goes on, and it takes ages to even understand what's happening with you. Loss of employment or pass over for promotions. Will this person be the face of our company? Really? Are you serious? Please, let's not do this. But there's hope. So just 4 days back, I was traveling and I saw a person with an LGBT badge. I think a corporate person checking into a hotel, having the badge because the corporate's also catching up. So yes, the systemic change is coming in. Let's be on board. We don't want to miss that flight. Prevalence rates of mental health concerns among the queer LGBT, queer gender, if I may say, are varied but are typically higher than the rest of the population. Not because there's something wrong with them, but because there are systems that are wrong, or systems which are downright each time trying to silence them or trying to correct them. Studies prove societal attitudes seem to have especially changed over the last 5 years. even families. But there's still a lot of ambivalence. Maybe let's dump that ambivalence today while we leave this place and go out more being an ally, affirmative, that we know there's nothing wrong with queer community members. My friend, my sibling, or that aunt or uncle who used to behave a certain way when I was growing up and the rest of the family actually made fun of them. Okay. I've actually already covered this. I'll go forward. So a queer affirmative approach will mean letting people have their own sense of expression. If I have a client coming into my clinical practice, instead of me asking, okay, आपका नाम क्या है? आप अपने आप को बुलाते क्या हो? अच्छा मैंने क्या बोलना है? आज ही सब बता दो. Let's not rush. Maybe the person is actually not, they are established in their gender identities. They feel okay with that and there's something else actually creating a problem in their lives. So meet people where they are instead of pushing them, rushing them or being overly curious, because these things seem to tickle me. Or maybe I am feeling uncomfortable. So even parents for that matter, when their kids are behaving a certain way, they think there's something going off. Let's ask, let's talk to our child every day. School mein kya hua, kisne kya bola, answer everything. Tell me today, how do you feel? What color would you like to wear? Very funny actually. So we have a dog child at home. I got a pink collar. So the trainer today told me, like a passerby said, let's mate your girl with our boys. I was like, okay. The dogs are also not spared. Pink means it's a female dog. मैंने कहा ठीक है यार बहुत जगह correction चाहिए. Let's leave it there. So that's a fact. I can't wear a pink, like a gender male-looking person should not wear a pink because otherwise something's wrong with them. Wow. So we don't spare anyone. Deeply conditioned, and you all are here, so I'm sure you are ready to let it go. So thanks. So providers, whoever this may be, if someone's coming and talking to you, try to be a little non-judgmental. At least let the person talk. Listen. They're not coming to be getting extra support from you, or a sense of correction, or to be rescued. They want to be heard. They want to feel belonged. They want to know that, okay, I can come and talk to this person. So be non-judgmental, not overly enthusiastic, or just rushing it over. But children, if I have to address here, a lot of counselors, school systems are trying to sort of become a little more sensitive, but we have a long way to go. So like it's traditionally said, it begins at home. So maybe parents need to look into the beliefs which have hardened over the years, how to sort of reflect over that. And is there anything actually I need to sort of correct my child into? So if I look at the psychological part of all of this, internalizing concerns such as depression, over-diagnosed issues as ADHD and oppositional defiant disorder, that happens because a person is questioning or bringing their concerns forward. But let a person be. Hear them, listen to them, give them enough time. Not rushing into actually putting a label on them. Even a diagnostic label for whatsoever purpose. Maybe you feel you're answerable to their family. Inko hua kya hai? How about just saying that yes, they're going through some concerns and we are addressing them. Stay there. Not rushing into ADHD hai, inko problem hai, inke andar gussa bahut hai, none of that. Functional impairment within the family, schools and offices, workplaces need to be actually seen and not overlooked. They also create a lot of anxiety in our systems for people who are living in the systems. Impairment is often a direct result of negative societal reactions to gender presentations. So concealing or managing sexuality. Like I said, a lot of people actually lose their lives or end up doing self-harm because that is the only way they seem that they would be able to manage the intense pain that they are going through. So instead of thinking, they're acting it out, they want extra attention. Let's actually hold that and be present. A lot of people have had long-term, lifelong damaging effects on their psyche because they had to live in the closet for the longest time. So coming out is a psychological step. Step 1, I come out to myself, I accept it to myself. And then next maybe other people come in. But first is I, eventually whenever I arrive there, I am able to accept myself as I am. It could be whatever gender labeling that might be. It's none of your and my business. If and when and at the volition. Outing another person is something which is almost, if I say, criminal. Like, because my friends shared, they feel a certain way, let me tell every friend in the group, इसने ये बताया. Or my child's going through it, I go to every relative possible, tell me how do I get my child corrected and get them married off. There has to be a solution to this. They will bring shame to the family. So that's none of your business, if I can say. Outing is not something that's left to you. Let the person actually take their own time. So a lot of times families, parents, teachers, counselors ask, what do we do? How can we support, or what do we not do? There's a lot of fear when it comes to even parents. Maybe start communicating. Maybe start just observing, watching this other person, be it a child, a teenager, or a person who's lived like a husband or a wife to you for the longest time but has not been okay for the last couple of years or months. And maybe they want a space to talk. Papa, before getting scared as to what might come, allow them. We'll have to challenge our own deeply held relationship meanings, how we relate with this. A lot of times, even with clients, we say, okay, are you married? Do you have a boyfriend? Where is your husband? How about maybe changing it to, okay, do you have a partner? Are you in a relationship? That is sensitive to any gender, whatever, however I relate myself to. But okay, if you're in a relationship, and what would you like to talk about today? I'm leaving it there. Let the person open up. Create a safe physical and emotional space. Let's, at our homes, create a little rainbow corner. At our workplaces, have LGBT flag just kept there. Keep a book which is meant for QACP people, like queer affirmative counseling, or just understanding different identities of people, so that another person knows that, okay, this person's at least open to talking or is curious to understand. So visibility in physical spaces will make a lot of change. Like I remember this woman just walking past having that badge. Yeah. So one more video for us.
We lost another member of the queer community, Anjana Harish, just 21, to forced conversion treatments. As a mental health practitioner myself, I would like to say it very clearly. Conversion treatments are banned. They are illegal, they are wrong, they are harmful, it's unethical practice. I would urge the mental health community to actively participate in stopping conversion treatments. These don't work because there is nothing to cure or treat. All sexualities and genders are normal. It's as simple as that. We cannot continue to lose more lives because of this harmful and unethical practice. If you are offering this service, you should know you're in the wrong, and the community, the mental health community, is going to take action. I urge official bodies, associations, forums, and individual practitioners to put out a strong statement stopping conversion treatments.